I'm excited today to be able to share with everybody my Coalcracker Bushcraft line of knives through Battle Horse Knives. If you follow me on YouTube or social media, I talk a lot about the Coalcracker, which was the original bushcraft knife I developed with Battle Horse, and that's this knife right here. And that came out of necessity and the fact that I was using a lot of different knives, constantly changing up my knives, and I thought about, what do I really want in a knife? So I sat down with the guys from Battle Horse, drew it up, made a couple revisions, changed it a couple times, and finally we finished up with the Coalcracker. We're going to talk about all these knives individually in a few moments, but I just wanted to go through where this whole series develops from. So we developed the first knife, everything was going good with it, and I started to think a little bit, you know, other than just having one knife, what if I'm going to carry more knives in the field? What do I need, and why would I need it? So I looked at my school curriculum that I developed, and I started thinking, and I thought, well, there's two other knives that I've always gravitating towards. I always have my bushcraft knife on my hip, and that's my workhorse. I use that for everything. But further than that, when do I grab another knife? And it really came down to two other times. One time was when I'm butchering game. So I grab my old butcher knife that I use all the time, and I usually throw out my pack the majority of the time during deer season, and I said, that's what we need. We need a bigger butcher knife, something for around camp, something for butchering game, and something if we need to process larger material, it can still do that. And that's where the Bushman knife came into play. So this is the Bushman by Battle Horse Knife. You can see, long butcher style knife. So again, we're going to talk about these in more detail, but that's where this knife developed from. So gone with my old knife, which was the same design and style, and I'm in with the new. The next thing that I always felt that I was gravitating towards constantly was when I would trap and I was skinning game. And that's where the skinning knife comes into play. So I had a knife very, very similar to this that I bought at a junk store, and I was using for all my skinning tasks all the time. So why not step it up a little bit and get a proper knife made? And here we go. This is what we ended up with. So this is the skinning knife in the whole series. So this knife for filleting fish, skinning game, it works out absolutely perfect. And again, this is going to be more of a specific type tool, but to carry these three tools in your toolkit is going to be a win-win situation for everybody. You have all your bases covered for the most part, other than a heavy chopping tool, but you should be carrying an axe for that, in my personal opinion. So let's get zoomed in. We'll talk about each knife independently, and I'll show them up close. Okay, so to show everybody, this is the Coalcracker by Battle Horse Knives. 8 3/4 inches overall length, 4-inch blade on this thing, high saber grind 01 tool steel. And again, this was really developed because I was looking for a knife that was going to fit all my needs. I do a lot of fine carving, feather sticks, processing game, skinning game, and then just an overall utility knife. So you can see we have real nice spalted maple handles on this thing. It looks really nice, it performs really nice, and it's just a great overall knife. I had this on my hip for over the last 2 years, and it is where it's at for sure. So the next knife is our skinning knife. Again, 4-inch blade, 8 inches overall, spalted maple handles. You can see there's a nice thin profile, so for filleting fish or skinning game, this thing's unbelievable. You choke up on this, just like this, and you can get right in there. You can cut all those eyes and faces out of those animals that are in them hard places, and it works good for heavier cutting if you got to cut through a little bit of tendon or anything like that. And gutting fish, this thing's awesome. This is made of D2 steel, and we ended up going with that because when you're skinning, it's a pain in the butt to constantly have to go back and keep freshening up the sharpness of your knife. So with that D2 steel, it's going to hold an edge a lot longer, but it's still very easily sharpened. So this is the skinner. So this is the Bushman knife. It's a traditional butcher style design. It's made of D2 steel, has a 7-inch blade, spalted maple handles, and I really wanted to go with this for the simple fact that butchering game should be built into whatever your survival system is, because you should be killing game, and especially in a long-term scenario, even if you take meat with you, you're going to need to cut that and process that. So this knife is where it's going to be with that. Now I have skinned some deer with this also. It works out just fine, and I've used this also just as a belt knife, and it works out great too. If you like a larger knife, this knife works really well for that. But my idea, when I thought again back to my curriculum in my school, was when we start to get into the Bushman class and we start doing some butchering and things like that, you know, this knife is going to fit the bill for that every single time. So this is the Bushman knife in the collection. So they're the 3 knives in the Coalcracker line: the Coalcracker, the Bushman, and the Skinner. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I was so excited to be able to finally get all this situated and share with you guys. Like I said, this has been a work in progress for a while, trying out different knives, talking with Battle Horse over a ton of different things and different options related to these, but we really have it dialed in now. So again, we have the Coalcracker. This is your multi-purpose utility bushcrafting knife. We have our Bushman butchering knife. Also, if you're looking for something larger to carry with you, this is it. And then of course your skinning and fillet knife. And these knives here should cover all your woodland needs. Have an axe, you're set to go. You should be able to live almost indefinitely, as long as you can get some food. So this was Dan Wolak with Coalcracker Bushcraft. I want to thank Battle Horse Knives for working with me on this project. We have a bunch of other things in the works, so hopefully you stick with us and see what greatness is going to come of that. And if you want to purchase any of these knives, you can check them out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com and pick yourself one up. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. All my emails on my website. And thanks for watching. Until next video, stay in the woods, guys.